Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gnyp Gnop. Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday.
Shining.
Happy
at
Friday.
least in our area. It's a little chilly, but that's okay. I'm Gnyp. I'm Greg Gnyp. I am that Gnyp of the Gnyp Gnop. There's Chris Yasinski. I guess you are the Gnop.
I guess I am by default alone.
Just by default alone. You know what? Hey, there's nothing wrong with default. Well, unless you're talking about the band.
Right.
And then there was a lot to say wrong about default.
Oh, well.
Hey, how are you today, my friend?
You know what? I am self-medicating with bourbon and staying away from sharp objects.
Well, that's not a bad way to live sometimes.
I know.
You know, speaking of beverages,
yeah.
You talked me into a beverage. I was like, I was like, no, I'm going to be good today. And then you pointed out that you were having a beverage, and I think you called me a wussy.
With all due respect, it wasn't much of a convincing.
Yeah.
It was, where's your drink?
So what are you drinking?
You know, I'm drinking a real favorite around the house. It's a summertime drink that we just kind of came across this winter. And it's kind of it's a hometown favorite. So Crown Royal Peach. So Crown Royal is bottled and blended by Diageo in my hometown. All that Crown Royal comes from here. And you mix it with a little bit of Canadiana, some Canada Dry. And I got to tell you, it doesn't sound like it's going to be amazing. It's freaking amazing. So try it.
Okay. I'll have to go to the liquor store and buy some more liquor. That's great. And you know what I'm doing? I am doing, every once in a while, I like to go back to something just absolutely basic, simple, and, kind of like what you drank. Sometimes when your parents would let you have that cocktail at a party.
Cherry whiskey and 7.
Well, no, I'm actually having just a Weiser's Deluxe and Coke.
Oh, nice.
Keeping it a little local again.
Yep.
Right, because because I mean, we may as well. I had to go with the Weisers because we're going to be we'll tell people more about Weisers in the show in a little bit. But I'm drinking it out of one of my favorite breweries in the Windsor, Detroit area. They're in the States, and it's Coonan Brewery, and they have a beer called Drippa. And the first time I ever drank Drippa, I didn't realize it was close to 10%. Yeah. I was a mess at the Green Dot Stables in Detroit waiting for a table. I'll have another pint. I'll have another drink. I'll have another drink. I'll lie down on the floor.
Yep.
It was delicious.
You got to watch out for the 10%.
But hey, it is what it is. It's sometimes you just got to have fun. And, I said, you can't always be proper. Sometimes you have to have a little bit of fun. And
yeah, absolutely. And we kind of change shirts all the time on this show too. So we all have a different shirt. So this is my New Order shirt. One of my factory shirts.
That's a great shirt
from eons ago, and also we've been working really hard to get Peter Hook on the show as well. Get Hooky on, maybe talk about Peter Hook and the Light and some of the other projects he's working on, and hopefully a New Order tour in 2023. So.
Which would be amazing. I would love to see. I'll tell you because I've actually had a chance to see New Order 3 times.
Okay.
And sadly, I'm going to say though, one of their concerts was probably one of the worst shows I've ever seen in my entire life.
That is true of some of their live performances.
And it was their show at the Fox Theater. And it had to do with their sound. Whoever was doing their mixing that tour, I think he may have had some hearing loss because up where we were sitting, it was like, I'm like, I don't, and I know New Order inside and out with their music.
Right.
And my sister and I, we were sitting there going, what song is this? I think this is True Faith.
Yeah,
no, but hey, you know what? They can't all be winners.
Yeah. It's like going to see Jesus and the Mary Chain in the early days, and they had like an 18-minute set of just nothing but distortion and noise, and then they walked off stage. Another brilliant way to go see a concert, right? And I think probably one of the most memorable concerts that were bad for me was the Pixies. Pixies at St. Andrews Hall.
Is that the one that he walked off the stage?
So Francis Black, we just call him Frank Black, but now his name is legally changed to Black Francis. Is on stage. It's a hot August night, like it's super steamy in there, and you can see people, the spit coming off the microphone. There was a grounding issue at Sanders Hall that night, and he kept getting electrical shocks off his microphone into his face. And after a while, he just says, F this, and just walked off stage. I don't know like 3 songs in, maybe two and a half.
I think he did 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah.
And that was the night that they banned glass bottles for a while.
To Black Francis, there you go.
No, it was he was, but I still have from our days at C Jam.
Oh,
I have him singing the Canadian national anthem.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
I will dig it up one day and bring it to you and let you hear it. The only problem is he sings it to the tune of O Tannenbaum. Oh Canada, oh Canada. And I'm like, that's O Tannenbaum, right? And he just turned right and he laughed and he said, I'm the artist.
That's right.
I went, oh, there it is.
I'm Black Francis and you're not.
Yep. So, so Mother's Day is upon us. And, and it's funny, right? Because I still look forward to Mother's Day, even though my mom's been gone since 2007. Yep. But you know what? I still think I do something on Mother's Day kind of in my mom's honor. I might plant a flower or, I like a few years ago, I planted lilac bushes, so, and it's got to be a little bit tougher this year, dealing with Mother's Day and the pandemic. You're lucky your mom is still with you.
Yep, still with me, still driving, mid 80s, doing really, really well. Obviously my father passed a number of years ago. So yeah, it's every day special,
So So I was looking at, they said this year and last year, the most common thing moms have said is come over, don't buy me anything, and just do something for me. Like, cut the grass or, things like that. Not like
go get a haircut.
Yeah.
Why don't you shave that thing off? Get a haircut.
But I mean, and it was funny because my mom, I was that person. She'd be like, I don't want anything.
Iris.
Just come over and just be. I just want to see you. I mean, so what are you going to do for your mom?
You know what? Because she lives alone, and with the current restrictions in Ontario, we are the house that she can come and visit out of all the sons. And, I got to tell you, I would usually do a barbecue because I'm a big barbecue guy. But, we cook a really crazy mean nacho here, which she really loves and she hasn't had in a long time. So I think we're going to surprise her with some nachos.
Does not to be creepy or anything, but does your mom need a date? Because I could come over and you could be my bubble. Because I love me some nachos.
Oh yeah, I make everything from scratch. All the refried beans, make everything from scratch. It's awesome. It really is. I must say so myself.
Now you are, but to be fair, okay. Now I got to be honest. Now a lot of people don't know this about you. Mm-hmm. But you've got 9 nipples. No,
yes. I had one removed. Yeah. I'm down to 8.
No, but you are a hell of a cook, especially outside. The barbecue, the smoker.
Yeah,
it's kind of like watching a little bit of an artist when you're creating something, and it's funny because a lot of times people just turn on the heat. But no, you're careful. You've got the heat right here, and you've got this there. You've done all that kind of stuff, and it's a pretty impressive meal that you can whip up.
Yeah, I think what happened to me was I became a vegetarian for a number of years, about 2.5 years, and talking about falling off the vegetarian wagon, I went out and I got a Kamado Joe grill, smoker grill, right? The ceramic egg, as people would think of it. And it just kind of changed my life in regards to cuts of meat and the way you smoke and even, doing like tofu and all kinds of other stuff, vegetarian dishes on the Kamado as well. But became really, really passionate about it. And it also kind of makes you think about if you're thinking more about the way you cook, then you're thinking also more about what you're putting into your body, and you're thinking about more of the way that you actually get to the end result of, and that's a meal. And I think it's a brilliant way of kind of reverse engineering your meals by getting really passionate about all the ingredients that go into it along the way. And I really enjoy it. It's just something I really enjoy. But thanks.
Now, but here's one of the things, though. I'm going to warn you.
Okay.
There's a warning coming out about barbecues right now.
No.
And it's not because they're bad for you.
I'm going to take a drink first before I announce it.
So you don't, this won't affect you so much, at least this, but there's a propane tank shortage looming in the barbecue business.
Good God.
So many people over the past year have purchased so many barbecues that they can't keep up with propane tanks right now.
I think it's those patio fireplaces. I think that's what's doing it.
Well, and I think that's the other one too. It's that, but they're saying there's actual shortages coming up with the propane tanks, and they're finding there's also problems with, like, if you break the grill and you need to order a new grill, that could take you 3 months now. Well, kind of like appliances are taking 3-4 months to come in.
Right.
Things for grills are taking that long now.
Yeah, I really think what you're going to find is, buy a propane tank and get a free grill.
Yeah.
It's going to come to that.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, but the thing is, now you're like I am. You're a charcoal / wood person, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. It's about the smoke, right? Whether it's apple wood, try to stay away from hickory because I find it just too caustic. Pecans are really nice. Again, it's just kind of experimenting with all that stuff that really comes into those different ingredients to make your food is just brilliant.
The one thing I found that is not so good though in the smoker is like the pallets on the side of the road. Why does this taste like burning?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like it's funny though how people during this whole pandemic time have kind of rediscovered the joy of barbecuing, and I like to go into some of the nicer markets, the nicer butcher shops. And it's funny to see how passionate people are getting about their cuts of meat.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. It's like, no, I don't want that one. I want that one that's got a little bit more marbling in the back because I'm doing this. And I said, I've always been that guy. I've always been the guy where it's my ex-wife used to hate going to the market with me because she'd be like, just pick this up, just get that, just take them. They're good. I'm like, no, that's the better piece of meat out on the barbecue. I mean, if you're slathering some sauce on it, it doesn't have to be, the nicest piece. But if I'm eating it just as is, I want it to be pretty.
Yeah. Like, you got to be passionate about the cuts of meat, but not just that. But I'm like the guy who squeezes produce. I'm the guy who goes, "Oh, that tomato's not right," and I look at peppers and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm the produce squeezer guy, only because I really want just the best when I'm cooking.
Oh yeah, and that is why. Again, I mean, living like at least where we live, we're so lucky to have so many great farms around us.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite things to do is to waste an afternoon going to markets or going to like roadside stands. And it's like, oh my, that place has the corn, that place has the tomatoes. Oh, have you had the onions from such and such? And I can spend a whole day shopping for groceries.
Yeah. Especially when it's all in season, right? It's just so amazing. And the smells are incredible. So,
yeah. So, I need to get back to something though, really quick.
Okay.
Your nachos.
Yeah.
Explain these nachos, because you have to understand. I have everywhere I have traveled in my life, I stop and get nachos I've had nachos in Reykjavik, Iceland, Copenhagen.
Wow.
I've had in Rome. I had it in Anagni. I had all these, right? I've tried all over North America because I love nachos. One of my favorite nachos in the entire world is Sneaky D's in Toronto. They're King's Crown, brilliant nachos.
And what makes them brilliant?
Proper homemade chips
Okay.
to ingredient ratio.
Okay.
So it's all proper. The guacamole has a great fresh taste. The meat perfectly seasoned, and it's the same every time. Every time I go, it's always the same. It's always that. I've never been let down there.
So it's consistency.
Yeah, and enough of everything. So it's not like at the end you've only got chips and one piece of tomato left.
Right.
It's that proper, Sheldon on Big Bang Theory used to always talk about the meat to condiment ratio.
Right.
So it's the chip to ingredient ratio.
Yeah, I think what makes it really special is using the oldest cheddar you can find. I think that to me just kind of sets off the whole dish, and really it's being able to make your own refried beans.
No Velveeta?
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Fresh ingredients.
No, I totally get that. It's so maybe one day when this whole pandemic is done, I'll invite myself over and you'll
cheers to that.
You'll make me some nachos.
I'd be honored.
So one of the things.
Yes.
Should we start? We should probably talk about some.
We should.
As we're drinking, we should probably talk about some of the people we've got coming up on the show. We've got some. Good names coming our way.
So next week we have an old friend of ours from, believe it or not, university days, Rory Fior, who is part of the Fior family. Colm Fior, the famous Canadian actor, is his brother. He's also really involved in Stratford. So he's going to be coming on talking about what Stratford's been up to for this last year, and how is the arts and all these great entertainers, what are they doing? They're doing a lot of live stuff. They're doing some online stuff. So what's happening? So he's going to kind of give us an update from Stratford next week.
Which is very cool. And then the following week, we're going to be talking to Johnny and Leslie. Johnny and Leslie, they're from Universal Honey. They used to be in The Pursuit of Happiness, and that is their new project. So they're going to be, they've got a new album out. They've got a new single out. And so they're going to be chatting with us in in 2 weeks. And then we have Dr. Don Livermore from Wiser's coming on on the 28th. So cheers to Dr. Don. He's got, we're going to be talking about, so many people don't understand what we have in our own backyard liquor wise with the how many awards he's won with some of his new releases. And it's incredible. So we're going to talk to him, and we're actually going to do 3 different whiskeys taste test with him. So, we'll be busting that out. Plus,
nice.
So, and then we're going to be talking hopefully with Mike DiPietro from the Vancouver Canucks from the Amherstburg area. Mm-hmm. So we'll be talking to him what it was like to be a hockey player in the NHL during the pandemic. With that had to have been being stuck in a bubble and all those kind of things. Yeah,
especially to the OHL guys who canceled their season again this year. My hearts go to everybody because I know a lot of the guys in the OHL system, and wow, it's kind of tragic what's happened there.
It is. It's actually I have a friend of mine. His son was actually signed by the Kitchener Rangers. I'm sorry. Okay. Kitchener Rangers as a goalie. And that's the thing. Excited. Let's get going. And then it's like, so they've been, basically he's been having to practice in his backyard, things like that. And it's tough. It's been tough. I had a friend of mine, you're talking about when we were talking about Stratford, a friend of mine, she went from theater in Toronto, and she had just been hired to go to Broadway and have a big role on Broadway. She moved to New York, got everything ready, and they said, and the season has been canceled. So There's been a lot. That's why there's been a lot of stress and a lot of attention. So hopefully there's some light at the end of the tunnel, and we're starting to see some.
And that is a typical story with everybody that we know in the music industry. Everyone that goes out on the road, all the guitar techs, all the roadies, all the guys who own the gear and the crew. I mean, it's a typical story that we see around North America. And my hat's off to all these guys, right? I mean, they're all experts in their own field, but if you can't tune a guitar on tour, with Panic at the Disco, then what are you going to do, right?
Well, exactly. And I think about, I've got a friend of mine who's really big with AEG, all the concert stuff. And
right.
he's, thank goodness AEG was very nice, and they tried to keep a lot of people employed doing things, as many people, but, stagehands. How many stagehands work at a club or at a venue?
Right.
And it's like, well, if nobody's coming in, you don't need anyone to lay cable to the speakers.
Right. It's really tough.
That's why I say, when all this is done, I hope when it's safe and it's good, I hope people go out and they see all these people that have had it really tough, and we love the hell out of them.
We do. Another guest coming on is David J. Haskins from Bauhaus, Love and Rockets, producer of many records. He's been watching the show. He's a dear friend that we know of Pat Fish's. He's committed to come on as soon as he wants to come on and announce a couple of his projects. So that's probably a couple months away when he's going to come on.
That's awesome. Plus,
great. And
here's the other thing: if people say, "Hey, I know somebody that you guys should talk to, somebody cool," something kind of interesting, whatever, send them our way. We would love to talk to people. We're very friendly. We're quite nice sometimes.
You bite.
Well, I just like to call it nibbling.
Yeah,
no,
that's right.
So, there you go. So that's our little Mother Day chat, our discussion on why you need to go and get your propane tanks now before you run out.
Hoarding propane tanks.
I know that's going to be the kind of thing. And go get your charcoal.
I am. I buy it by the half pallet, by the way. That's kind of how I've always bought it. I buy a bunch, and then when it runs out, and I'll go buy another half pallet. So we'll see. We'll see if this.
But you know what, though? I'm suggesting this to everybody because that's going to start running out as well.
Yeah.
And people are going to start going, well, no one warned me. Well, Gnyp Gnop just warned you. Buy your charcoal now. It doesn't go bad.
Yeah. Well, happy Mother's Day. Love you, Mom.
Love you, moms.
There you go.
And you know what? I love the single dads as well. So they can celebrate Mother's Day by default as well.
Sure. We'll see you next week, guys. Bye.